Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1995A, and today's date is October 14th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Central Bank System is Collapsing, IMF Prepares, Patriots Will Counter. Now, before we get started, let's talk about investing in the market. There's never been a better time in history to invest in the stock market and cryptocurrencies. Trade Genius over the last 30 days have netted its traders nearly 40% on their money from spot-on crypto and stock trades. Their binary options program overall record is now at 161 wins with 11 losses, and cryptocurrency trades are up over 550% on the year. Right now through October, for their Halloween specials, you can save over 50% off their bundle specials, and/or use promo code Halloween40 for 40% off all non-bundled items. Check out TradeGeniusAcademy.com. Tell them X22 Report sent you. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, for a very long time, the central bank, they have been in control of the system ever since 1913. And we came off the gold standard in 71. And since that time, we've been on a complete fiat system, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And other central banks have grown out of the Federal Reserve, the IMF, the BIS, and the ECB and others. And they do believe that they're still on course to transition us into their economic system. Now, the IMF, they are preparing to move the world economic system. When the fiat system collapses, they're planning to move the entire system onto the SDR. Now, this could be an SDR coin, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to be centralized. It's going to be controlled by the central bank. And we need to remember that the international monetary funds, their special drawing rights, is an international monetary reserve system created specifically to address limitations of gold and standard fiat currencies such as the dollar. In short, should these fail, central banks and their government retain the ability to trade and plan with liquidity via another exclusive instrument, the SDR. The system is said to enable liquidity in international finance when assets like gold or other fiat currencies fail to do so. In the event of an unprecedented worldwide economic collapse, the SDR could become a centralized means by which to rebuild their global trade networks. In fact, after the downturn in 2008, the global downturn, the IMF's issuance of SDRs to member countries spiked dramatically in an attempt to restabilize the world's economy. Remember, their system was breaking down. They didn't want anyone to realize that it was their system that was breaking down. Of course, they point the fingers at all other places except the central bank, where their system is dying. Now, the SDR, the system was created in 1969. Isn't that odd how that was created in 1969 and we came off the gold standard in 1971? And it was initially defined as equivalent to 0.888671 grams of fine gold, which at the time was also equivalent to $1 US. Now, after the collapse of the Bretton Woods system, the SDR was redefined as a basket of currencies. Of course, the collapse of Bretton Woods meant that the international abandonment of the gold standard and the beginning of a floating exchange rates. SDR is a uniquely isolated system with its own exclusive economy and management, including interest rates set weekly and allocations to member countries determined via IMF criteria. So this entire system is completely controlled by the central bank. Governments have nothing to do with it whatsoever. They're completely independent. Now, think about this for a second. The central banks, they've been planning this for quite a while, and we know that they always have backup plans. We know that they don't want their system to be removed. They want to stay in control. And they're trying to push their agenda by moving everyone, and this is what they're hoping. They're hoping with the collapse of the entire economic system, they can come out and they can say, listen, we have something already prepared. We can move the entire world to this system. Now, this would be very different than having one country as the reserve currency of the world. This system would be totally controlled by the IMF, by the central bankers. They wouldn't even have to report to a country or ask to allow them to extend laws or anything like that. They would have complete and utter control. But we know the downfall is going to be when they're exposed. Now remember, their whole entire plan was to make everyone believe that there was an event, a war, or something else. This way they can take everyone and say, hey, don't look over here. Look over there at that event. See that event over there? That is the problem. Now, it could be a war. It could be the trade war. It could be anything. This is what they were hoping. Already with Trump, with phase 1 of the trade deal with China, their trade war narrative is starting to break down. I do believe in 2020, we're going to see Trump, the Patriots, and China work out phase 2 of the trade deal. Once this happens, the narrative that the trade war is causing all these problems around the world, that's going to start to fail. They won't be able to explain this. This is when Trump and many other individuals within other countries are going to start to talk about how it is a central bank problem, not a trade war problem, not a country problem. And this is going to be a major problem for the central bankers. The Patriots, they actually have the upper hand in all of this because they removed the ability of the central bank to push a certain event. And since they can't do this, the Patriots now have the ability to expose them. This is what they're worried about. This is what they're panicking about. This is why the Dutch central bank shocked many with its claim that if the entire system collapses, the gold is the only thing that will allow the entire system to start over. They're starting to see the writing on the wall. They're starting to realize that their entire plan, everything that they planned on, is not going to work. And moving to an SDR system will also not work because Trump and the Patriots, they already have their own plans to counter everything the central bank is going to try to do. The UK is going to be on board once they leave the Brexit. Australia will be on board. Italy will be on board. And many other countries as we move forward. One, as we know, the Federal Reserve note, that is a dying currency system. Trump and the Patriots, they know this already. They know that there's nothing they can do with this. It's a system that only is pre-programmed to last for a certain period of time. And then the weight of debt just completely brings it down. This is why Trump and the Patriots, when they came into power, this is why the deep state, the central bank, everyone is fighting against them. It's just not one faction. There are many different factions, and they all have something to lose. Each group has their specific thing that they will lose, or the specific group will be exposed. This is why you see different groups hitting at Trump very, very hard. The central bank has been talking about Trump with trade wars, saying that if this continues, it will bring down the entire economic system. The trade wars need to end. And they really thought that they would never end. They thought that the Chinese would keep up their end, where they would continue this going into the 2020 election. And at that point, they were hoping the whole entire system would completely fall apart. This is why they're talking about recession. This is why they're talking about depression. But all of this is not going to happen. The Patriots are in control. Trump understands and he realizes what needs to be done before that time period. And as you can see, each phase will completely counter the narrative of the central bank system, and they will be stuck. And once we hit that point where Trump wins the elections once again, and the deep state, the swamp, is drained, we move into the next phase. We move into the phase where Trump and the Patriots, they go after the big kahuna. The big kahuna is the central bank system. This is going to be a battle because the central bank system is the source of almost everything that we see today. The central bank system, they breed corruption. The central bank system starts wars. The central bank system is responsible for the wealth gap, for poverty, for debt, for families being in debt. And all of this is about to change. And what do the central bankers, the deep state, hate the most? Change. They don't want anything to change unless it benefits them. If it doesn't benefit them and people are awakened and they start to realize that the central bank doesn't benefit the people, the central bank has caused many, many problems. Once this happens, it's game over for the central bank. It's also game over for the swamp. It's game over for all these players. So as Trump and the Patriots move forward, they're getting rid of the outlying blocks as they approach and hit the central bank. And that is their last operation. And they need to remove all the corruption, all the blocks, and everything that you see here so they can reset the entire economic system. And not in the way that the central bank wants, but in the way the Patriots and the people want. Very big difference. And that is coming very, very soon. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.